Hello, everyone. Here we are back again. I've got to be honest, I was taught a couple of lessons today, and this same persistent little problem with legato keeps rearing its ugly head. So I want to just talk about the concept of what legato is and when we use it and when we do not use it. And we can use it a lot, but never for any sustained period of time. Let's take the simple example of a scale. But I'm going to interrupt myself. The fingers hit the keys. They're the things that hit the keys. We don't use our forearms, except in a couple of modern pieces they might do that. The fingers play the keys. That doesn't mean the fingers are playing the keys. This is an important concept. By fingers playing a key, I mean this kind of an action, where the fingers going up and down. When we play the thirds we talked about last night, if I do this, the fingers are touching the keys, but they're not playing the keys. In that case, the whole arm is involved. You can see it going up and down. You can see it going up and down. Parallel octaves. There's no fingering being used. We're not using the fingers this way. The hand doesn't look like some kind of a ungodly thing using fingers. The fingers are the ones attached. Imagine a big piece of plastic here going down, and it can move at the elbow. Okay, that big piece of plastic can move. And it's all now just set. Please don't get in your head that I want you to lock. Do not do that. But imagine it is for a moment. And I took that big piece of plastic and I went like this. You can't say the fingers are making the keys go down. The whole piece of plastic is. Now, if I move from the wrist and I say this is a piece of plastic and I do this and I bounce it and it bounces a little quicker because it's lighter than the whole arm, then the hand from the wrist down as one piece is playing the keys. Now I can do the same thing with one select finger, like this. If I select 4, the finger's not playing the key. Okay, now, do the fingers ever play the keys? Yeah. Let's take a very quick example you can see really well here. Let me use my left hand. You can see the fingers better. If I use the whole arm to come down on the F, my finger can push away on the G. That kind of thing. Now, that's the finger being used to play the key. How much does it have to move to do that? Very little. It's a little. You can hardly see it. I'm kind of pushing away the arm. It's kind of like a thrust. We've talked about the thrust, but maybe not enough. If I have to do 3 keys, and I drop into 3, okay? There we are. I'm at 3 minutes in. Mom is calling. Mom is calling. Thank you. I'm in the middle of my broadcast, but that's great. That's good. Let's talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's talk.
Goodbye.
3 minutes in. 3. Okay. Anyway. So if we have the F G A. Now let's say after that I had to do the B flat, C and D. All right. That's it played, and it's not, like I said, it's not a crossover. It's more of the wrist moving. But we don't have enough information yet to know how we have to do this. And that's why I've been talking so long about rhythm. If, in fact, we have to play 3, 2, 1, and let's say the count was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where you have a 1 and a 2 and, where the heavy ones are the F and the B flat. You can just pick your hand up a little bit. But let's say I had to play it in 2s. If I had to play it in 2s, this fingering may not be the best fingering for that run. It might do better to go 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dot it, dot it, dot it. I'm hitting 3 notes there. It's a percussion instrument. I think we forget that sometimes. It's a percussion instrument. That's a better fingering if I have the four, if I have the twos. Okay? You might even do and go over at the end with that finger. Or even, and now that one looks like a real cheat, but because of the rhythm and the tempo can have an effect. If I had to go ba-da-da-da-da at that tempo, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1 would be fine. That'd be a very good fingering. So we don't just look at the array of notes, the order of notes, and decide what fingering makes them smoothest. Therein lies what I call the legato curse. And it really does curse some people when they're trying to practice. Everybody, when they play the Furlies, which we went over in quite a detail, thinks that it's, oh good, look, I used all the fingers, I got to play that without ever letting go of a key. Bad. That's a bad way to play it because you're not doing the rhythm. The rhythm is saying 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. But da 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 dum. And if you look at my wrists, that's why I have the camera where I have it today. I was hoping you could see a little bit more of this action, so you can see it isn't. See my wrist? See the whole mechanism here? It never moved. It's wonderful I can do it all with fingers with connecting all of them, but that is not the way the piece goes. It wouldn't be nice if it was. It just isn't. In reality, it doesn't go that way. It goes 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And I'm literally doing that. That's the arm playing. That's the finger pushing away from the key. That's the arm playing. That's the finger pushing away from the key. That's the arm playing. That's the finger pushing away from the key. That's the arm playing. That's the finger pushing away from the key. And I'm landing on him, and I'm probably going to maybe stay on him for a moment, but I'm hitting him. The whole arm is hitting him. So if I do that without doing all that talk, it looks like this. And you go, well, I've never heard the sound of that. Of course not. Because when people play it, they stay a little closer to the keys. They maybe don't come clear off that key, but the wrist is on its way up. See my hand here laying on my arm? Not this. That's non-musical. You try and do it with the fingers, play them louder. Well, right away the wrist wants to get involved. It's very hard playing one finger louder than another and know which one's going to be louder. But when you strike the key, but only some of them, that's insured. That's already taken care of. And if you add a little pedal very much to taste, you'll never hear that dit, those dits, D-I-T. That dit, that. So, with one of my students today, we were discussing that next measure. Now, the big notes in there are the A. We have a dotted. I said last time we talked about jello, jello, jello. Let's call it dotted instead of jello. Now we have one dotted in there that's in between the hands. So the right hand's kind of hitting also. He's waiting for that thumb to come off for that sound. And that's the proper accent. If I push the pedal down, and you can hear and the pedal is down during that measure for the piece. And then, notice I ended on a 5. Oh, but Jeff, the next note's B. Don't we want a good finger there to get smoothly to B? I'm going to get smoothly to B. I'm going to pick the 5 up and hit that one. Remember, I'm on my way off that A. I can easily land on the B on the next note, which is one of the fingerings I offered when we talked about it. I said you could use 4 if you have a bigger hand. Don't need to, though. That's not hard, even faster. hear the dit da dit da, dit da dit da. Okay? All right. This, you can see I was worked up about this whole concept. And it's not students' fault. I totally understand where it comes from. They hear everything sounding so smooth, and we know it has to be the fingers doing that. But it isn't. It can be. Some of it's smooth. That's smooth from that note to that note, very legato. But we're done with it after that. That's it. At one time I told you, legatos don't go any further than maybe 2, 3, 4 notes at most. 6 maybe. And you got to be careful. Well, remember, everything is made up of 2s and 3s. 6 can be 3, 3, 3. Let's look at that right now. The 6. Okay, 6. Tarantella. That's an old tarantella from the Aaron book, Michael Aaron books, book 2, near the end. But let's look at it. Let's put it under the microscope here and see what's going on. It is not this. It's not that at all. But that's what it sounds like when you play it. Kids go, "Oh, well, dude, that's smooth. All that smooth fingering." Under the X-ray, it looks like this. Here, I'll put my hand here again. You've got little groups of legato, arm, 2 fingers coming up from that. The whole arm is coming up. Then it drops in here. Then you got those 3. Now, if you watch me play it fast, take a good look at that wrist. I should have maybe put a magic marker on there. You can't see it. All this skin is the same color. Maybe if you could see something moving around there. I don't know. I'm desperate enough today to put a little magic marker on there. There, can you see the little dot? See the dot? Watch it. You see it going down and up like this? That's because I'm not doing this. That's all fingers. I never play like that. Why don't I play like that? Well, first of all, it's not easier. It's actually harder. Also, the rhythm is not there. There's no rhythm there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Those accents give us the whole thing. Now on that one, I hung on it for a second because I don't want to use my pedal. I could have. And the slower I go, the more you're going to see the dot move. Because I have the time to come up and even hit the key a little bit more with the whole arm. Now this hand, of course, he's just doing the dots, and he's kind of in sympathy. This guy wants to go in sympathy with that left hand. It wants to do this, and in a way, it is doing it. Okay. All right. So, do we ever use fingers to play? Kind of, but even if I had to do a thing like this, I would let the arm fall on him and tenuto him, stay on him. But even on these guys, I would want that arm still doing it even though I'm locked to the key here. Not locked, that my whole arm can go up and down as long as I stay on the key. Could I play a legato thing? Sure. But then I'm dropping, and then these guys are coming back up and off the keys. We're always going down and off the keys. Always. You're playing one chord, you're going down and off the keys. If you're playing 2 notes, you're going down and off the keys. Well, Jeff, what happens when it's a soft note going to a loud one? Well, then you might have a dit dot where you actually leave that first key. See, at the beginning of the Pirate, which I think we played in one of the pieces, I'll do it down here so you can see it, maybe see it better. Watch the dot. That's our dot of the day right there, our dit dot. We dropped on the first note, The next finger played, the next finger played, the next finger played. On the next finger, we pushed away on the A. I'll do it in tempo. So there's a lot of little fingers in there playing. They're very shallow. We don't need this. I get that all the time. I get this kind of thing. No, they're very shallow. If I keep doing it, you can hardly see the fingers going up or down at all. But I am hitting 2 of those. Watch the dot again. Watch the dot. You see that shock all of a sudden. That's when my arm is hitting a key, not a finger. Not a finger. In the Brahms example we looked at, that guy, we drop. That's a dit. That's a finger being played. Kind of. In a way, it's really more the arm getting behind it and pushing off the key. But if you want to pick fights, that could be a little pinky being played there. But again, look at the amount of it. That, not this, not the whole thing. Then we've got this. The chord is here. I'm dropping, and then dit, a dot it. So if you want to get picky about, am I doing legato and using fingers? Yes, in that regard. And you can hear those legatos. Dot it, dot it. Let's take a kid's piece. Let's take a Butterfly. I give it to kids all the time. Notice at the beginning here, I get kids coming in that want to play this. They hardly want to lift that finger up because they have to play it again. No, what you've got there is they're using 1 finger in that construction, the 3rd finger. 5 is being dropped. And then 3, the finger is used and it comes off, and then it lands on the 3 again and comes off. If you're using your pedal, you could come right off everybody at that point. And that's another good one. That's another good one right there. Because kids either want to go and press every finger and hold every key down, play them all semi-loud. But what they have there, but then the beat gets missing. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4. So doing ensures that. You want it more legato? Just don't completely let go of the key. Bring the mechanism up to drop into the next key. Or perhaps use a little pedal. That could do it too. I hope I'm getting through with this legato stuff. It's always for short little runs. When I practiced that piece, the Fantasy Impromptu, I very, very deliberately was playing very loosely. By the way, it has a 4/3 rhythm that's quite nasty. That's actually the hardest part of the piece. It's quickly learned, and then you apply it everywhere. But I was practicing slowly. People may not have known what I was even playing, but I don't think it's hard to tell. But without any pedal. And when you hear it with pedal played quickly, no wonder you think it's all legato and my fingers are all doing the playing. No, there are a lot of finger playing there because you've got 1 drop for every 4 notes. It's groups of 4. So for every 1 drop, well, that one's only 3. But the rest of them, da 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 dit, da 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 dit, da 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 dit, da 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 dit. You can hear them. They're there. Da 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 it. Da 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 it. Da 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 it. Da da da. That's how I practiced it. Okay? Sounds different with the pedal down, and then you make the wrong assumption that it's all fingers. Okay? I just felt this was really important to talk about today. You never play more than 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, maybe even 5, depending on the piece, notes with a legato. You don't have to. The rhythm will give you the chance. Remember, anything that's of 8s is of 4s. No, maybe I shouldn't say that. It could be 3, 3, 2 also. Okay? And that'd be the best way to play that as a scale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Using the regular scale fingering wouldn't lend itself so well to that. Much better to do it with that fingering. It helps the rhythm. Everything must meet the meter. Everything must make the meter work. So just because you found a good smooth fingering doesn't mean it's going to work with the meter. And we maybe should talk about this even a little further. Maybe over the next day I'll find a whole bunch more examples so I can show them to you. It's like Legos. It's very modular. You're putting these things together and making maybe a bigger thing. But the meter has to be always observed. Anyway, I hope this went faster than I thought. I didn't think I'd be talking this long about this, but I think I want to talk longer about this. This is a real important concept. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. If you can tell, I actually recorded this during the day if it looked a little different lighting-wise. But it was on my mind. I said, I got to get it out now. Okay, so anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, maybe the same subject. And have a good evening. And remember, when words fail, music speaks.